Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg and this is...
King of the Silver Foxes, Matt Strange.
How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, man, good. Although I've only had like 6 hours sleep, I feel remarkably perky. I was ill all weekend. I slept 32 hours a day. Completely possible. And last night I didn't sleep at all. Had 6 hours, woke up. I'm actually quite chipper and spry. How are you doing?
I'm alright. I've just got back from work.
Actually early. It's refreshing as well. What a day.
I know, yeah, and the sun is shining.
And the wrestling was good.
Yes.
Oh, what a time to be alive. Well, wonderful. Is it October? Yeah, of course it's October. It's a week from fucking Halloween, Matthew.
Yes. Yeah, you know,
when Morg's people come out to knock on my door.
The only good holiday.
I like New Year as well, and
I like New Year.
I used to bully all my friends into celebrating Strangemas on the 6th of February, where they had to buy me a beer, and we would listen to Real Big Fish and Metallica. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much Halloween. I get to eat fucking loads of sweets.
Like a holiday I could get behind.
It's a wonderful holiday, Strangemas. It's for all true followers of Strangism, religion about me. My goal was to get it on the census when I was a kid. Anyway, that's not about wrestling.
Right, I'm tempted to make you tier list on religions, but I think that's a bit too dodgy.
Oh, I'll do it, mate. Oh, no. I'll do it with minimum edge, but I won't do it today.
Right, so this may be the first time you've listened to our podcast, and as such, you would need to know we have a tier list. This is how we give our scores for Rampage and Dynamite, the individual matches, and then we do a bit of powerful letter maths to give an overall score. Mr. Strange.
As reliable as any star system.
Are you ready?
Right, here we go. I am. Tier list, you all know them. Maybe you watched YouTube channels with them in. Maybe you played old school weeb games like Tenchu and Resident Evil and other phenomenal games from the 90s. Maybe you just went through the British or Japanese school system. Who knows? Anyway, we start with our lowest rank. Unless we're being facetious, it's a D. It's a waste of our time, it's a waste of screen time, or we just didn't fucking like it and it was bad. Very rarely we'll go below a D. Most of the time we'll be above a D. Surely we won't need any Ds today. D, it's shitty. From there we rock up to a C. C is what we want for our average segment on the show. We want a good promo work, some good bit of character work, a good enough match. It doesn't have to blow our mind, carry a story too far, but you watch it and you're not disappointed. The time isn't wasted. From there we rock up to B, match +1, segment +1. This is where things get tighter. The promos are a little bit cleaner. You know, the characters a lot better. A lot of our favourite promos, Eddie, Moxley, MJF, just solidly knock out Bs and we don't even bother fucking ranking it. A B rank match +1, is just that a bit crisper in the ring, a bit clearer in the ring. You get a few more things that just sort of keep your attention on the screen, but they don't necessarily blow you away. That's what we want from a B. A rank are just typically the top of the month. It's the best fucking shit you'll see outside of a mini miracle, which we'll be covering in a moment. A rank matches, they're great, they're clean, they're paradigm blowing. You see some shit you've never seen. You have story going out and in, or just story told in the ring really well, which I have to add because I've given an A this week. Sometimes that story could just be told through presentation. A rank cut sequences and promos are obviously those great moments like Moxley's first arriving paradigm shift promo where he just got all of his character and attitude over in one moment. Beautifully scanning on the mic, it was ace. And then luchadors and ninjas, undead wizards, magic clowns kidnapping Superman. Or just a super phenomenal, really good match in the ring. A ladder match between two of the best tag teams in the world. S ranks are the things you send gifts of to your friends. Things that are shared for fucking years. The things you will actually remember to talk about with your wrestling friends when you see them the 4 times a year that you go to a weird nerd event. Or, in the promo land, S ranks are just those fucking phenomenal babyface moments where teary-eyed they win over the crowd, or comedy heel Jericho releases a bunch of tiny dogs on a drone. S ranks are just magical pieces of wrestling history. So D, shitty. C, good. B, very good. A, amazing. And S, magical pieces of wrestling culture. God, I am lively today.
That was a proper mic drop at the end of that.
Yes, mate. Look at me go. I've only had 3 coffees.
Bloody hell.
This hour.
Right, moving on. News. I believe you've got a couple of little bits for us.
I have a couple of little bits of news. Currently going on is the Jericho's Wrestling Cruise, which is always full of wonderful clips and wonderful moments. Normally it's a lot more advertised, and I was hoping to one day go on this cruise, but apparently it's on now. Evil Uno is watching a match with Danhausen, so we might get to see some AEW Danhausen. But yeah, otherwise there's always a bunch of great clips, fan interaction stuff, and just interesting things that come from the Jericho Cruise, and hopefully some drama, because what do wrestlers love more than drama? I think we don't have to discuss WWE, or I would be mentioning Charlotte Flair. And in bad news, turns out Jim Ross, JR, has sadly been diagnosed with skin cancer, which, although terrible and scary, especially for a man of his age, is the easiest cancer to cure and work with. He will be on that big budget American healthcare, so hopefully they can cut the offending square out, patch him up, and he'll be back and healthy in no time.
Yeah, thoughts to Jim Ross.
Yeah, man.
Go on.
Yeah. Hopefully, it'll work out. I have faith. I'm in a positive mood.
I was going to say positive, strange.
Fuck's sake, mate.
So now we move on, and we've actually got to our segment that we haven't had for a while.
Social media.
Social media. What have you got?
Woo! Well, I've got 2 YouTube vlogs to recommend. One I haven't watched, but I have been informed it's very good if you enjoy seeing the actual socializing culture side of behind the scenes in wrestling. It's Ali the Bunny's vlog. It's Laura Ali on YouTube. People seem to love it. I haven't watched it, but I will now be advertising one I have watched, which I do love, and this will not surprise people. It's technically not an AEW tag team, but they are AEW adjacent. You can now watch the Talking Shop Gallows and Anderson vlog on YouTube, and it's phenomenal. They are terrible, carny, comedy assholes, and the last one I watched was at some kind of southern, Dukes of Hazard Mania or something like that. A Dukes of Hazard themed convention full of hillbillies that they're laughing at, and they have a match. Earl Hebner is the ref, and they are chanting "He fucked Brett" several times through it. And it's wonderful. Yeah, Ali's vlog, if you want some nice, inner wrestling culture, that's Laura Ali on YouTube. And Talking Shop, if like me, you enjoy the carny side of wrestling.
Awesome. I think I'll have to check out the shop, the Talking Shop.
It made me piss, mate. It's very them. I can see why every wrestler is always laughing when they're around them.
Yes, I can imagine. Right. Let's hit the reviews.
Oh, I'm up first, aren't I?
You are up first. Yeah, again, we're not doing BTE until it stops being about shoes.
Watch the Alex Reynolds and John Silver sketches with Michael Cole. They're hilarious. Otherwise, don't bother.
Adam Cole.
Right. Adam Cole, not Michael Cole. Fuck. I'm getting Atom Cole. I'm getting used to it, all right? Right, okay, it's time for the 3 Rs, the regular Rampage run-through with Matt Strange. We've always called it that. Friday's Rampage, we've got Excalibur, Taz, Ricky Starks, and Jericho on the commentary. It's quite an interesting one. We get the first match of the men's tournament thing with Orange Cassidy versus Hobbs with Hook. Orange Cassidy still wearing his injuries from the previous matches he's had, and Orange Cassidy wins with the mousetrap. Jericho shouts, "Send Hook," as they head down to the ring, because Jericho knows that Hook is the most dimes person in AEW. Get a solid beatdown of Hobbs on Orange Cassidy for quite a while. A lot of overpowering, a lot of catches and moves. Orange Cassidy gets a couple of small comes back. There was a brilliant moment where Bryce was telling off Hobbs, and then Hobbs just picked him up and carried him over the ring. Tries some shenanigans, but it actually distracts Hobbs and the ref, and Orange Cassidy hits the mousetrap and wins. It was alright. Like, it was a long squash the wrong way, but it made Hook look powerful. I actually liked the mousetrap. It's better than just a regular roll-up, so I gave it a C. It was good.
Yeah, it didn't. It got a C. It was a low C for me. This didn't.
It's a bit one-sided.
Yeah, it just felt. And although that's exactly what the match should have been, with the babyface overcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. But yeah,
I quite liked it, but it wasn't amazing. I said, C. Fine.
It was all right. Right. Anyway, yes. Moving on.
And Penta and Alex come out to the ring, and they see two guys who obviously aren't FTR, dressed as the Frog Brothers from last week, just outside of the ring. Then FTR attacked them with Tully. They had a bit of an assault. They held up the titles, and Pac scared them off. Skippable. Fine. Then we move on to Anna Jay versus Britt. Britt wins with the lockjaw. She get a smooth and technical start, a lot of grappling and wrist control, which is nice. Nice and even between the two of them. Anna's kicks could be a bit quicker, and I felt some of her selling was a bit strange, but it was good. Britt, obviously, great, clean work ring, good personality. We used to hate her, now she's amazing. Big submission spot for Anna with shenanigans in the middle, breaks, rolls, built up a lot of tension around it, quite good. Britt hit a fucking brutal lockjaw. Yeah, good. Bit weird and some bits that could be tighter, but I gave it a C again. It was a good, solid match. We get getting to the level where I'm giving out C's for matches which seem like they should be better, but for me, we're hitting what a solid women's match should be all of the time, as opposed to that period where everything was terrible and solid was good. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I get. Now the Raptor really enjoyed this match. Really enjoyed this, and I'm almost tempted to push my score up because of it. I gave it a C, and I gave it a high C. But
I'll give it a high C. I'm happy to compromise in the favour of other people who you witnessed.
I gave it a high C. I'm not sure. The impression I was getting off the Raptor was that she thought it was probably a B. She really enjoyed it. She thought it was really smooth. It was fast paced. There was no point at which you were getting bored. Yes, I agree with you about Anna's kicks. They are a little bit. She's very careful with her kicks.
And if we've learned anything from our new favourite people in AEW, it's don't be careful, just maim your opponent.
Yeah, apparently.
Hurt people.
Right, moving on.
Right, after that, Britt locked in, they relocked her, and Tay ran out. Usual post-match shenanigans that we're quite used to. Tony invites Andrade and Pac to do their little interview thing. Andrade's didn't make a lot of sense. He wasn't as sharp as he could be there. As I keep saying, just let him speak in Spanish. He's a lot better. He knows where all the intonations on his words go. Pac obviously pulled it back a bit. Right, Andrade versus Pac. Holy shit! Pac wins with technicality, if I've written. A bunch of... this match just went on and so much happened. Pac wins. A fucking explosive start. Had everything. Strikes, suplexes, dives. So much strong style on show. Just ludicrous. Andrade did a corner kick of Pac. Pac dodged and Andrade amended his foot and hit him still. And that's rare. I've never seen that in wrestling. Brutal brawl both ways. For picture-in-picture, they decided to slow down to regular match speed. With a bunch of apron brutality. Andrade's got so many cool little corner rope apron moves that all hit on that side, and it was awesome. Andrade hit the Three Amigos whilst the crowd chanted Eddie. That was lovely. Just a great brutal brawl with everything I love in it. I stopped taking notes at this one point. Just I can't say anything else. It's everything I wanted in a match. It felt like a fight. It had all the things you need in a match. It had a bunch of cool things I'd never seen. A bunch of technical moves. I gave it an A. It was fucking great.
Ah, interesting. I also gave it an A. This was fucking awesome. This was a really good match.
I was about to come to your house and slap you.
I don't have any notes for this match. I was
That is
actually
fine.
I was actually prepared. I just didn't. I just put the book down. I just put my book down as soon as it started. And
Also, it was different to their first match, which was flippier and had a bit more of the spinny stuff we know they can do. Sorry, I'm talking over you. I'm just so excited.
no, this is good. It just makes me. I'm really looking forward to Andrade versus Phoenix.
Oh yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. Going to be great.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we're giving that an A. This is where our opinions may vary. As soon as Pac wins the match, the lights go out and Malachi appears, sprays him and stomps on him a bit. Then Andrade gives him a chair, because apparently Malachi and Andrade needs to work together. Arn came out and did his Glock action. And then Cody came out and beat everyone. I appreciate that Cody got his pop. I don't know why Malachi needs Andrade, and I don't know why that moment had to be stolen from Pac and Andrade after such a match. It was the first pop Cody's got in quite a while. More on that later. But although it was a good moment for Cody, I can't help but feel it stole the shine from two other people who had a better match. What did you think?
I didn't care. The Raptor popped. She said the first time she's popped for Cody in a long time. I don't, because when Black appeared, I was like, oh, they're doing it. They're doing it. They're going to turn Malachi and they're going to do the feud I want, which is Malachi versus Andrade, because those two together in NXT, they had a freaking awesome match. Really good. And a nice little feud. Andrade was the champion who couldn't get beaten, and then Black became the number one contender, and Andrade was suddenly the champion who probably could get beaten, and did.
Instead of that, they're on the same side, apparently, because I'm not sure why Malachi needs friends.
Well, I think they are mates, but it doesn't make any sense for his character at the moment.
Won't downgrade the episode because of it, because that final match was too good and the rest of the show was solid. But I am not keen on the idea of Malachi being part of the Rich Boys stable.
Yeah.
Strange. Overall, couple of C's and a B and an A, mate. We'll give it a B. That's Rampage.
Yeah, that was it. It was
good
a
show.
Rampage.
Good show. Phenomenal finish. Even if you hate Cody. More on that later.
Yes, more on that later. Right, Dynamite. JR Schiavone Excalibur on commentary. We kick off with Bryan Danielson versus Dustin Rhodes in an eliminator tournament. Bryan wins by Dustin passing out. Thoughts and scores?
Yes! We know I'm in love with Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, whatever. And we know Dustin can wrestle. We've never criticised Dustin's wrestling. What a match. We start with some well-paced exchange between the two of them with some of the biggest arm drags and hip tosses I've ever seen. Not many notes on this, just because I was watching and it just kept hitting beats over and over and over, and it had a bit of everything. Slams, strikes, once again, everything I've complimented on the previous match. And as much as I hate Dustin's power level, he is good. Everybody got to go on the submissions wheel. Everybody got a bit of a choke backwards and forwards. And I can honestly say I did not expect him to pass out. Especially after I'm just used to him beating people. Does Danielson just make everybody else better? Is everybody having their best match with him? Or is it me? Because I love him. Anyway, I gave it a high B. I don't think it quite crossed into A territory with story and such like. What with Dustin sort of coming out of nowhere, tournament things, but definitely a high B just because I enjoy watching Bryan punch people. I love it so much.
I gave it a B also. So yeah, a couple of things. One, so this is the Dustin that back in episode 1 of our podcast, we talked about, is he the best veteran wrestler? This was that Dustin. This is the one that we last saw against Cody. Yes, Bryan does bring out the best in people. That's what good, but he had someone who knows how to dance.
And boy, did
well.
they dance.
And yeah, it was a really, really good match. Again, originally. Now, I have to say, with the tournament, it makes the ranking a bit more difficult for me because I believe a tournament overrides the story.
Yeah, no, it's
If
yeah,
that
but you could do
makes
both.
sense.
You could well, you could tell a story in the ring whilst you've got the setup.
Yeah, it's got to be the story in the ring. I don't think there was a major one in this other than, oh, look, Brian's really good. Oh, look, Dustin's really good. My only issue, now the Raptor didn't mind him passing out. I did.
Really?
Yes, because it improves on that power level thing he's got because he did not tap and he did not get
Oh, no, it's made him more powerful and I didn't notice, Morg. He's becoming stronger before my eyes.
Yeah, he didn't tap and he didn't.
Oh, no,
get pinned.
that means he can say he didn't lose. Oh, no. Oh, no. No!
Hey, if it leads to a rematch that's of the same quality as that match, I don't care.
Yeah, fair. As long as...
Yeah.
At least Dustin doesn't book his matches like Cody does. More on that later.
Right, moving on. Quick Elite promo, mainly a Kenny promo. Thoughts?
Solid shit talking from Kenny, some good stuff. I like the coward shit stuff. They still goofed it at the end by him complimenting Adam Cole for the lines. But on the other hand, gave it a C. It was fine. Can't say it was particularly great. Can't say it was bad. It was fine. I enjoyed it.
Unfortunately, they've painted themselves into that corner is they have to be a bit goofy, and certainly in their promos, because that's their characters. They think they're cool and they're not. I like the fact that the entire Elite, in fact, the only cool member of the Elite now seems to be Adam Cole.
No!
No, but you know what I mean? He's the only one that's not being completely...
compromised through dickery.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not coming off with the, I think I'm cool, but I'm not. He's like, I think I'm cool. Well, actually, you kind of are. Right, following on from that, we had a Penta and FTR promo. Any thoughts?
Hair FTR were alright. He did stumble a bit. He repeated a couple of turns and said cosplay a couple of times. So I'm sure he wasn't quite ready to spit on the mic. Alex says revenge is a dish that best served Cole was nice. Once again, a C. Didn't inspire anything special out of me, but I didn't hurt anything.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. So after that, we had a Sting in-ring segment with an MJF interruption. Thoughts?
Fuck. I really like this. It's nice to see MJF occasionally go a step further and do some of the different stuff from the generic, your football team bad, me good in ring, you know. MJF's interruption came instantly. I expect it would take longer. I don't know if MJF ever wants his music to actually be played because he says cut my music every single time he comes out by about the second bar. Just be nice to hear it. Some great lines from him. Your leftover stash from the 80s raining down upon them. Gun violence and incest. The Lex Luger comment. Holy fucking shit, MJF went to town on this one. We get the standard beatdown for Sting during it, and full psycho MJF with mega heel energy. The Sting Defiance attempt at a stand, obviously, to eat more shit was good as well. I thought this was a really, really nice segment, and I gave it a high B.
Yeah, this was good. MJF's got to lose to Darby now, though.
Has to, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But that is what I really want. I want Darby to be MJF's first. I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it in the hope that whoever it is that listens is that Darby needs to be the clean win on MJF, the one that nobody's really had yet.
It's got to happen, and it's the perfect person. He's not... Sammy is paired off in a different direction from the four pillars as they talk about it. And those two, it's Darby and MJF. Let them fucking go. Let Darby get his win. MJF can always win another one back later. It's not a problem. But, you know, get that rivalry going now and give MJF his loss. It's been 2.5 years, 3 years?
Well, I mean, he's had losses, but yeah, he's not had a clean loss. And this is what I want to see. I want to see coffin drop, job done.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see something else come out of this, but more on that later. Right, moving on. We had a quick Britt Baker backstage interview. Any thoughts?
solid, but I don't think we needed it. Like, I like Brit. I gave it a C. She's got big Brit energy. She knows what she's doing. She's great. But I'm not sure this one added anything to the episode. That makes sense? Can we have a break from her? Like,
Yeah.
even Phil doesn't come out and talk this episode. He comes out, but he doesn't come out and talk.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the time, because me and the Raptor were discussing that.
Yeah, see, passable.
So continuing the women's 15-20 minutes, Penelope Ford versus Ruby Solo in a women's tournament match. Ruby wins by roll-up. Thoughts and scores?
Started really, really strong. Fast start, strikes, counters, brutality. We know I'm coming over to Soho, and we know my opinion of Ford has gone up recently because she's got a lot better. Little bit of everything at a constant pace. When he came out for a bit of shenanigans and distractions, didn't think it was needed, but they need to build that tag energy, even though for some reason we don't have a women's tag belt yet. I didn't have proper picture-in-picture, so I had to watch it on the small screen, but it seemed to maintain regular enough with the heel domination, a bunch of good rope work. Ford's had a load of rope things. We had a rope drag, a rope choke, a rope guillotine. I like people who can do clever rope work, so that's good for me. Strong face comeback for Ruby after that with her solid strikes, and they are really good. You get a bit of a weird sequence where Ford did her crab walk dodge, and then Ruby deadlifted her, and then it sort of went about a little bit. That was a bit strange. Ford did her finisher again, which Ruby kicked out of again, meaning Ford's finisher is now reaching Crossroads level of low tier power. Rick Knox played terrible football with the knucks, which made me laugh, but I think a single kick out the ring would have been better for Ruby to get the roll up. The end kind of ruined it for me. I still gave it a high C. I still think this was better than your average women's match. We had story. We had enough of this for me to care about everything going on. Everybody looked good. I know the characters. I know the continuity. Good stuff. It just didn't quite cross into a B with the... We could have just had a clean finish. She could have got her revenge, you know. Yeah, high C from me. What do you think?
Pretty much the same thing. It was a good match. I really enjoyed it. I like Ruby. I've liked Penelope for a while. For quite a long time, she's been one of my favourite of their heel wrestlers. The bit that was weird for me was the beat down on Ruby and Red Velvet for the save. Out of all the people.
Yeah.
It just felt a little bit out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, there's
Why is Red
They need
Velvet?
to decide what they're doing with Velvet, because Velvet just seems to show up randomly with every wrestler, and she's got great stage presence, wonderful persona, she's good in the ring. If you're gonna pair her with someone, pair her with someone.
Well, see, no, for Ruby, where I would have stuck Ruby was with Ty and Anna, because Ruby's a great talker, and those two are
Need help.
okay, but they're not great talkers. Ruby's a much better talker.
There's got to be somebody else punk like it.
Would have been a much more interesting new take on the Riot Squad.
Got you, but they've got the Dark Order thing going on.
They have got the Dark Order thing, but yeah.
And until Liv comes over to complete my actual punk girl collection, and they get oh, my lioness, what's her name? It's gone. Hater. She loves punk music and rock stuff. Until I get that trio, I'm never going to get my British pub combo.
Which one's... Who's the other one you said, Liv?
Liv.
Liv...
Morgan, is it, from WWE?
Oh, Liv Morgan. Right, yes.
The other one from the Riot Squad, wasn't it?
Yes.
Wasn't she in the Riot Squad?
Yes,
yeah.
she was. She was the only one left after they got rid of... Oh, the one who's really into Vikings, whose name I can't remember. It's escaping me at the minute. She's married to one of the Viking Raiders.
I don't watch WWE, so you've got no help from me, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, yes.
I'll take Hater. She's ace.
Yes.
I love it.
So, moving on from there, we had an MJF backstage segment. Thoughts?
Oh, God, this was funny. Big Dime's Wardlow with the world's manliest voice. Hairs grew on my chest, and I'm already a lightly hairy man, but more came out upon hearing Wardlow's voice. I pissed. I love Comedy Spears as well, and we know he was my first, side favorite wrestler when this began. As the accountability buddy. Obviously, it's beating to the fall. Spears is, hey, when he got laid, and MJF running away. I gave it a B again. It's not as good as the previous Psycho MJF one, but it showed the full diversity of the character, how he's actually a coward. They build to the split up, a bit of work for Spears. I loved it again. Do you think?
Yeah, it was really good, and more of the slow burn Wardlow work. I'm getting to the point where I think it's coming close to being around about time. I think a little bit, tiny bit more, maybe for a little bit more mic time.
And something terrible needs to happen. MJF hasn't really done anything to properly fuck him off yet, but it'll come.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's going to come in the Derby Sting.
Oh, good call.
I think it's going to become in the... Yes, I think MJF is going to... That's where he's going to screw up, and Wardlow's going to walk out on him, and that'll be why Darby gets the win. So it won't be clean in a weird way, because MJF won't have his backup to let him cheat. So
MJF will probably be able to blame Wardlow for his loss.
So he will blame Wardlow, but it will be a clean win to everybody else. There won't be anything in the loss. So yeah, that's my prediction on that. And let's be honest, the Pinnacle aren't really doing anything. I think it's time to just kill them.
Yeah, it's not really gone anywhere, has it? As much as I like all the members in it.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from there. Bobby Fish versus Anthony Green. Fish wins. I've unranked... No, I gave this match an unranked. And I'll explain why afterwards. What did you think of the match? Did you give it a score, or did you...
I gave it a D squash. Bobby Fish, or Evil Bryan Danielson, as I'm coming to know him. It was a squash, but it was a really, really good squash. He came out and he ate that man alive. Strikes, brutality, that suplex into the ropes, which is rough as fuck, and then he won. Still a squash, but fuck. You know what I mean? I am going to give it the D, because I have to unrank a match in a few minutes, so...
That's funny, because I've got another unranked as well. Quick things. Anthony Green looks like the Young Bucks, the love child of the Young Bucks and Peter Avalon.
He does.
Go and look at him again. He's totally...
Yeah, no, I can picture him now. Good work.
So Bobby Fish does a beat down on Green, and then somebody comes running out with no music or anything else.
Ruth predicted Phil coming out.
Punk comes... I was thinking Punk comes out for the save.
Second fight on Rampage.
I liked it. It's just... it's Punk is being the babyface at the minute.
I also like the fact that once he got out the ring and was on the ramp, Bobby Fish didn't run off further. He stood there like, yeah, all right. As opposed to, I've instantly been 200% cowed, if you know what.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I love his little teeth guard.
The whole point of this match and the reason I unranked it was to give us a reason. And I like this. This is one of the things that me and the Raptor were discussing. And what I wanted to point out was I like this because it has given us an excuse for Bobby Fish versus CM Punk. They're not putting Punk into big storylines. That's what they're doing with the other guys. So Punk's just having an excuse to be on the show and an excuse to have a match, which I think is all he wants at the minute. He just wants to have wrestling matches again.
And he's picking a lot of good opponents, which is really nice. If he keeps up like he did last week, I will continue to cheer for him. Yeah, in a medium way that I think he's good, but he's not my favourite.
I'm really looking forward to him versus Bobby Fish. I think this has the potential to be one of those matches where people that don't see him will see why some of us are such big fans of his and why at the time, back in the day, he was the best wrestler on the roster.
You'll never get that much energy, man. I'm sorry. He's winning me over. I appreciate you and the Punk fan base.
He's got a real... Yeah, this is an opponent that can pull it out with him.
Stone Cold came back. He'll never be over as he was back then. Phil will never be as over as he was then.
No,
because
that's
we've got
true.
beat up.
Unless, unfortunately, he won't be in AEW. Weirdly, strangely, if he'd gone back to Dub Z and rallied and basically,
oh yeah,
redone the
100%, yeah,
and gone, we should all just fuck off to AEW. He would have been, but there is nothing in AEW for him to.
Mad about, yeah. He seems
so
very. It's good he's happy.
Yeah, he's gonna move on, and he'll face Hangman, and that'll be his heel turn. Predicting it now. Right, moving on. Lio Rush and Dante Martin backstage interview. Thoughts?
Not feeling it. I can't say it's bad. Leo's got good cadence. Is he shit talking? Is he more face? Is he more heel? Is he evil Matt Hardy? Is he just Matt Hardy? They're obviously going against the Seidels because it's quite clear from a bunch of the previous matches that the Seidels trained Dante. I'll give it a C, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going. Again, I'm gonna pull to the Raptor here. Raptor quite liked the dynamic. We haven't done a one of them's a babyface, one of them's a heel in AEW yet.
That's a rare one. That one.
We did something like that with QT and Bunny briefly.
Oh, yeah, I remember that plot, the cook holding plot.
Yeah, but that was just crap. So I'm willing to see where it goes.
Yeah, I can wait. I've been won over by Britt, Hangman, and Phil. Dark Order. Yeah, we've been won over by a million things. So if someone stumbles a bit at the start, who are we to judge?
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. Right, Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston. Eliminator tournament. Eddie wins with a roll up. I think so. What did you think of the match? Score did you give it?
I'll just go through my comments on this. Obviously, this has sabotaged my predictions I made last week, but I think I get a pass on that in this case. It started off really well. A bit of an awkward match because they both fight in a very similar, slappy, no-sell style. So it wasn't the best match for either of them before the ending. Lance hit Eddie with another man twice. That pleased me. And Lance went 80% Japan. Fucking brutality. Eddie's smile and eye pokes always make me laugh. I just feel they both work better against different style opponents than against each other. Not to say it was bad. Eddie was selling like fuck throughout it, and Lance felt like a juggernaut. And then Lance moonsaulted onto his own head. And Eddie won with a roll-up, which after a man's just moonsaulted onto his own head is an acceptable finish. I haven't ranked it. It obviously went wrong. There was obviously filler stuff later on. As I said, I don't think it would have been the best match on the card because I feel they both work against a different style of opponent. But I hope Lance is okay.
Lance is fine. So Raptor went and checked straight away as soon as it happened. Lance is fine. Basically, he said, thanks a lot to the AEW guys for looking after me so much. I've done that move thousands of times. I think over-rotated or didn't rotate enough.
Happens.
Yeah. I don't know whether... So Eddie might have been meant to win anyway. So in the famous one when Owen Hart broke Stone Cold's neck, Stone Cold covers Owen with the worst cover ever. Owen Hart virtually drags Stone Cold over him so that the finish is correct. Now, unless they were told to switch it through the refs, which I would find unlikely, what Eddie did was just go straight to a finish. Probably the correct one. So I think Eddie was probably meant to go over, weirdly.
Nope, I always get 100% prediction rating. You're wrong. It was improvised to keep Lance safe. Fuck you. Fuck you, Morg. How dare you?
What, come at you with my logic?
Yeah. Nope.
I don't know.
It's Eddie and Morg. Who's Eddie against next then?
Because that was my entire thought. It's going to be Daniel.
Be down to the brackets.
He's got Bryan Danielson.
He's dead. All right. Into the bin he goes.
I don't know. Eddie's proper over. And
Yes,
Eddie versus face Eddie versus heel Mox.
Maybe I don't know. I don't think that's the place to end B-Dan's star run. We'll see.
No,
maybe I've entirely booked something wrong. And you know what?
I think the place for it to end is with Hangman, with Brian challenging.
Maybe this is what I've got wrong. Maybe I'll be pleased for once that my expectations have been shattered in a good way, as long as nobody else moonsaults on their own head.
To be fair,
obviously.
this was one of your possible predictions as well, was Eddie versus Mox. You did cover most bases in that one. Right.
Got excited, all right? I like wrestling.
So following on from there, we had Men of the Year and Dan Lambert in-ring promo. Sammy Guevara interrupts. Any thoughts?
Didn't feel this one as much. Sammy picked it up a bit. He's improved. He's learned from Jericho, but still wasn't great. We're going to get a meme match or he leaves the Inner Circle. Cool. Did we need that? It went dubsy. It was fine. It was skippable. I don't know if it was a D, but it's definitely a low C from me. Nah. Have a break from them, please.
The problem with this is they've telegraphed the match.
Has to leave the Inner Circle and his title in one go.
But if he wins, he chooses which members of top team they face.
Yeah.
So Dan Lambert is getting in the ring and taking the Judas effect, or taking some of the high-flying moves off Sammy.
Yeah.
So
what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did it inspire? What did your MMA friend think?
He hasn't seen it yet.
Oh.
So yes, I don't have a report. He went off to watch Dune yesterday.
Oh.
So I don't have the report from that yet. I will get that later.
What did you think then?
It was
good,
all right.
Bad. Are you bored of them yet?
It's just a feud. I'm not hugely invested in. Not hugely. I'll quite enjoy seeing Dan Lambert get his comeuppance, and I want to see his, because he's such a good heel promo. I really want to see his shock face when Sammy makes him be one of the people in the match.
Yeah.
You know,
that'll be some good classic wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. This was wrestling. 3-ring circus. Moving on from there, we had a Mox promo. Thoughts?
I liked it. I don't think it was as good as a lot of his other ones. It's obviously leading towards his heel turn. I quite like I don't give a fuck about winning, but I've got to make home safe, so I'm going to hurt you all. Yeah, no, it was good. That's not to say it's bad, but I can't clip him into the usual Mox B, and I only gave it a C. It didn't quite win me over as a lot of other stuff.
That is interesting. Because I put
you
this
more
as a high B. Oh, I thought this was brilliant. The bait and switch at the beginning. I was close to giving this an A. The bait and switch at the beginning and then the follow on with the bait and switch with the I don't care, moving into the why he's going to beat, because now he has to do it because it's his job and other people are street sweep. Oh, yeah. And it wasn't the shouty, passionate promo. It was calm and delivered. It was it was different enough. I really enjoyed this promo.
I'll give it a B for you more, because you know what? Normally I slight everything in my own personal favour. So for today, I'm with you. He's still good, don't get me wrong. In no way does what I mean put down his work.
Yes.
Even if he is becoming more and more dad-shaped every week.
Okay, moving on from there. Sammy with the cue cards. I didn't give it anything.
Didn't comment. Skip.
Yeah, skip. Dark Order and Hangman backstage segment.
3-ring circus again, isn't it? As you said. Blessed Hangman making his amends, telling them to wear costumes because there's always fucking costumes on meme episodes of Dynamite. Fine, see?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the payoff for this.
Oh yeah, it should be great.
All I care about this one is the payoff. The Halloween costumes, where the Dark Orders will either be amazing or they'll be so terrible it'll be hilarious.
They're all cowboys.
Oh, I hadn't even considered them all coming out as cowboys. Right. I will set this up with this is my other unranked match.
D!
Jungle Boy versus Brandon Cutler. Oh, by the way, I nearly gave Lance Archer and Eddie an S when he plucked someone out of the crowd and hit Eddie with him.
When he picked up young Ric Flair?
Yes. That was how we were. He must be a wrestler. And Raptor's like, yeah, he's just trying to be Ric Flair. Right, anyway.
Off he goes.
Right, Jungle Boy versus Brandon Cutler. Jungle Boy wins with the snare trap. Jungle Boy on the mic calls out any of the Elite. Cole comes out. Young Bucks jump Jungle Boy, beat the crap out of him, and then chuck him through a table off the top of the stage.
Remember when we had an entire plot arc proving Brandon Cutler could wrestle?
Yes.
Remember that? Do you remember like 2 years of story of Cutler might be unlucky, but look at all the things he can do?
Yes.
His costume and having entrance music.
Yes.
He acts like a dork and gets the shit kicked out of him.
Yes.
Just so we can have a transitional moment showing how Healy... Don't get me wrong, Adam Cole looked good when he came out. That was a great bump through the table. They looked like shit-eating heels. So I could arguably give a C for the second part. Didn't do anything for me. Realistically, I'm not sure it added to the show. I appreciate they probably had to pad out the show a little bit more. But you know how you could have padded out the show a bit more? You could have made that Cutler match up to a 7 match and let him do his springboard elbow drop and shit. You know, the wrestling movie he learned in his plot with Peter Avalon. That huge plot that went on for years that made us like Brandon Cutler.
Yep.
Pissed me off. Pissed me off, Morg.
Right. Here's something that won't piss you off. Miro promo.
I'm not as hyped as I was last week because it was basically the same promo. So I'm not sure we needed it. God's forsaken champion, his road home, etc. I love him. Last week it was an A because it was the first fucking paradigm breaking fucking yes one. Just gonna give it a C this week because it's the same promo and we've not seen him do anything. But obviously he's great. I love the man. He is a wondrous being of meat and threat.
Yeah, it was good. I can't add anything else.
He's wonderful.
I'm enjoying this. Right. Main event.
Oh, God.
Babyface Malachi Black versus heel Cody Rhodes. Right, no. Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson. Cody wins with the Tiger Driver 98. Thoughts and scores.
I've got almost a full page of notes on this, so you'll have to bear with me as I work through this load. This is the most I've written on a match in some time. The crowd half booing Cody's entrance. I can't say it was a full boo, but it was like a ooh. Wonderfully aggressive start. The two of them can fucking wrestle. Loads of technical work, counters, kicks, strikes, rotating through things. Very fast, it was wonderful. The crowd was just chanting, Cody sucks. There is a thing I noticed in this. You've got to admit it was a hot crowd. When was the last time you heard a heel get properly booed by a crowd? Not smarky booed, not we cheer the heel because although he's a heel, we like him. When was the last time you heard a crowd actively boo and hate a character? Because I can't remember it. I've never known somebody get as much heel heat as this man who does not heel.
The only
does not want.
Is MJF.
Yeah, Cody has earned MJF level baddie heat. Unironically, without intentionally seeking it. Magical. But yeah, wonderfully brutal for our fast start, as I say. We get a pace-breaking picture-in-picture with a figure-4 leg lock. Why didn't Malachi just roll it over? It's the way out. We know that. Instead, he gets a rope break. They maintain through that with a lot more hard-hitting moves. Cody grabs hold of Malachi and crossroads himself through a table. Some of Malachi's face went through, I suppose, but 90% Cody. Then Malachi couldn't find anything under the ring whilst Arn got into the ring and stood about for a bit. I missed the point where Cody's friends came out for some reason. I forget why they came out. I think they took a chair off someone. Cody obviously had to outbleed Malachi as well, because although Malachi was the face in this, Cody thinks he was. And it just starts going more and more Cody, doesn't it? Andrade has to come out just so his assistant can be speared by Arn, who has only got into the ring so Arn can spinebuster this dude. Then Pac came out to distract Andrade, and I think Malachi spin kicked Arn, but I missed that because it's a Rhodes match, so it's overbooked. I don't know why it was overbooked. The wrestling in this match, fucking good. Cody can wrestle. Malachi can wrestle. They've got chemistry together. It was fast. It was hard-hitting. It was some great sequences from Malachi. That out-of-bounds over-the-rope fall from Cody from the spinny kick looked like he actually fell there. And it could have been an A. This could have been an A-rank match. This could have crossed into S-rank. It was definitely a B on just Raw wrestling. If you looked at this, this was 100% wrestling +1, if not wrestling +2. Brutal, fast, snapping, chemistry, spots, blood. Finishers landing awkwardly so they don't win. But for some reason, half of Cody's fucking faction have to come out. Andrade has to come out to continue that story for some reason began earlier. Presumably for no reason other than to build this. It's a hard one to rank, Morg. It's somewhere between an A and a C. Which arguably makes it a B. That doesn't count all the bollocks that's in there. But it did have story. I am frustrated with the fact that Cody just can't see what's good, feel the crowd, and go with it. I'm a midway fucking strange rant here. Cody is so obsessed with being the good guy, unless it's the world's longest work. So obsessed with being the good guy, because he does all this charity work. He's a great person in the real world. But you can't be a forever face. I know your dad was a forever face, but you said yourself that you want more complex characters and stories. You read DC comics, the worst of comics, where most of the characters are edgy fucking wankers. Give in, Cody. Be a dark hero. You hang out with the man from Arrow. Jesus Christ. And just win or lose a match on your own merit. You don't need... Arn's clone, Brock, Scotty Lee, Andrade, Pac, Andrade's sidekick. 6 additional people got involved in this match. A one-on-one, story-ending match where Cody should have accepted he was a heel and people loved the fucking House of Black. Instead, he makes a contrived plot for Malachi to be attached to Andrade so he looks more like a shitty heel. 6 additional people. This was an 8-man match. It could have been 15 to 20 minutes of beautiful wrestling because the two of them can wrestle beautifully. I don't mind some chair spots. I don't mind some table spots. I don't mind colour. In fact, I like a bit of colour. Especially in the punctuation end to a series, to a storyline. He just can't. Why can't he listen? You could see his face. He was shocked they were still booing him. I'm going to watch the episode of Roads to the Top because I've already heard him shocked that people were booing him. Did he think he could win them back by doing the same thing he always does? What is the definition of insanity as spread by pop culture as opposed to the dictionary? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Be a heel or lose to the heel. Don't ruin a beautiful wrestling match with this bollocks. Why, Cody? Why? So I think I've burnt myself out, Morg. What did you think?
This was an overbooked clusterfuck. I gave it a high C.
I think that's fair.
Had Cody done one thing, so he finished it with the Tiger Drive in 98. When he first did it and they were booing him and he hooked the arms, I thought he's about to do the fucking pedigree. And if he
I
had
thought
done
that.
the pedigree, I'd have given this an S. Not because he was dicking on Triple H, because he would have been embracing
the character people think he's becoming.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah.
It's infuriating.
I gave it a high C.
You know what? I'm actually going to go with you. I said I was caught. I've just ranted for, 4 or 5 minutes solidly about how much this is. It upsets my inner storyteller, not necessarily just my... This is what's wrong with comics. And Cody says he's a comic fan, but he only reads DC, the most boring of comics. Fucking at me. And you've got to acknowledge when a character needs to turn. You've got to acknowledge when a hero needs to become an anti-hero, when a hero needs to fall and lose themselves and rise back up. Even Captain America has given up on himself at times. Even Superman went through a period with a black mullet and a black suit. Every hero, every storyline either has to end or the hero's journey. It's the circle of the hero's journey. He begins, he makes friends, he suffers conflict, grows as a person, and he wins. But every single one of Cody's stories have been, he arrives, he makes friends, he experiences conflict, he wins. That's it. He never grows, he never adapts, he does the same thing over and over. He did this with Brody, he did this with QT. It's the same story. Why did Arn get in the ring? Arn never gets in the ring when they're outside the ring. He wanders around, but this time he had to get in the ring. Why? So he could spinebuster a man. Christ, I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to go again. We're going to give it a high C, and we're going to move on. Sorry, Morg.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Well, what we're moving on to is the final score for this week's Dynamite.
We got a couple of D's, a few B's, and a bank of C's. A couple of them high. So I feel, putting aside the frustration and rage I am obviously punctuating this episode with, it was a high C of an episode. Although there may have been flaws and accidents, overall the wrestling was good to very good. The story choices were solid with a few weaknesses. And the promo work was mostly phenomenal throughout the show, to be honest. Promo and character work drew this show up a rank in my mind. I'll give it a high C. Coupled with, obviously, the high C to B rank show that came beforehand on Rampage, which, weirdly, I would argue was possibly the better show on Raw Wrestling than this one. It's been a high CB. It's been a good to very good week for AEW Wrestling. Not a lot to get upset about unless you care about story writing, structure, and how to end your episode of Dynamite. A good week, pleasing week, and hopefully Cody's next story evolves him as a character.
So there you have it. That's our thoughts, and that's our review for the week. What did you think? Let us know. Wrestleopinionated@gmail.com. WrestleOP on Facebook. WrestleOP1 on Twitter. Right, before we close out the show, Strange.
Go on, hit me.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm going to do. So I am going to give you some names of some AEW wrestlers.
Right, okay, I've got a piece of paper.
No, I literally want you to just very quickly fire straight back. So these are mainly undefeated, with one exception.
Right.
But you're not allowed to rant about it, and I'll do that one first. And what you've got to do is tell me who should beat them.
Oh, I'm on a...
Okay?
Leah,
all right,
on the spot. Let's do this!
So some of these are stipulated in other ways. But okay, your first one. Who should have been the first person to beat Malachi Black?
Hero. God versus Unholy. He could bring it back on his path to redemption. Malachi's obviously unholy, and we're not getting the cross thing. It's a perfect step for Miro to re-earn who he is by coming back and taking down a force of darkness with his redemption arc.
Okay. Who should be the first person to beat Daniel Bryan?
Hangman, after he beats the title of Kenny Omega, will actually defend his title successfully against Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan will respectfully accept this because Daniel Bryan is about the fight, not necessarily about the victory.
Right, I know the answer to this one because you've been throwing this one around for a while.
Hook beats Phil! And Hook!
Who should beat CM Punk? Right.
Gotta be Hook, mate.
Who should beat...
Man of a character.
Who should beat champion Hangman Page?
It's gonna bring him down a bit. I'm gonna give you two. One, I would give it to Cody if he actually takes a heel turn.
For him to challenge, he would have to take a heel turn.
Exactly, and he needs a heel turn. It would do wonders for his character. It would make him fucking hated. He's turning on that contract thing he had. It would be wonderful. Who do I actually want to beat him? I have a thing. Big heel energy. Doesn't need to be a mega heel. Doesn't need to be bigger than... I've already used Miro. Fuck it, I'd take Malachi Black as the champion. He is so unbelievably over, it doesn't hurt. He doesn't need to commit to heel or non-heel. He's very much in that Undertaker, Caney space that you can switch him. I would let Malachi beat Hangman. He's a very different style of opponent to what he's used to. Is pushing another WWE man up the cards, as they say, but all of us with souls know that Malachi is a Ring of Honor wrestler.
He's blatantly not a Dub-Z guy. They didn't fucking use him. If he's an NXT guy, it doesn't count as being an ex-Dub-Z guy. That's just NXT.
Because NXT was just Ring of Honor 2.0.
Well, it was Dub-Z's. It was Triple H's indie project. It was Triple H loves wrestling, and so
longer till Triple H to AEW.
He'd make Dark so much better.
Nick, just give it him.
It'd be weird, but yeah, it'd be the greatest.
Right, so I'm also writing my title list now. Apparently, my title is going. 1 second, I'm going to write this down at the same time. Kenny to Hangman to Malachi. Hero.
Right, so you have actually kind of screwed this one because I had who I expected you to say.
Oh, who did you expect me to say?
So who beats MJF as champion? As in, MJF is the champion. That's who I expected you to go for. That's who I expect to dethrone Hangman.
Oh. It can't be Darby. Oh, no, Darby can always go back for his extra win over him. You have to be champion in a situation, or is it who's giving him a meaty beating?
It is who defeats him. I would say defeats him for the championship.
If for a championship, it's Darby. If it's for just a meaty beating, it's Wardlow. Darby can always get a second win over him afterwards because he can always have that person who's hanging over him, basically.
That's interesting because I would have gone the other way round. I would have gone for the championship. For the meaty beating is one of those situations where you just have Darby. I've said this before. I want Darby to be the guy that MJF can't beat. So he's the guy they wheel out to sort of put him back in his place. But it doesn't have to be a championship match. They can have another match.
It's the super big championship. I'm thinking of the most over people, basically. And that's Darby.
I think Wardlow will be there.
Oh, God, I hope so. We know he increases women's viewership by 10%.
I think that Wardlow is the one. A face-turned Wardlow would actually be the one, much like Batista and Triple H.
You know what? I hope you're right, just because I think Wardlow is Gigadimes. And if I said I'm not jealous of many men, but if I could be Wardlow, I would be Wardlow. Get up in the morning, look in the mirror, Wardlow, I'd be like, yeah, with my super deep voice. I'd put on one of my lovely cardigans or whatever it is he wears, strut down the street with my giant pecs. Once he's polished, he's going to be Mega Dimes. And if I was a gay man, I would cuddle up to Wardlow.
So there you have it.
I'll end with that, yeah? We all know Kurt Russell's my real man crush. But anyway, yes, close the show on my gayness, Morg.
I've just run out of the ones I'd come up with. Oh, actually, okay, so here's one.
Go on.
Who should be the person to give Sting his actual first proper loss?
Ooh. Sting's too old and battered. Murdered.
I think
we'll never
talking
get that.
Who should be Sting's retirement match?
Oh, shit. once again, you've either got Darby in a I want to go out fighting kind of way, but I think you're going to get better with a massive heel pop, and I think Sting respects the business enough to give that.
He respects business enough that he will put over the guy who retires him in the same way that Kurt Angle did and Undertaker did and etc. So the guy who retires him will be the guy he puts over. So you can still have Darby. It doesn't have to be a heel pop. I think Darby and Sting going out as a babyface versus babyface, but I've got to prove
but I'm wondering what would get the better response.
Redo Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels.
I don't know. I think I could go for some big heel energy off this one. I think you could have a man, properly read as some kind of monster beatdown. Never finished the Lance Sting story.
I think it's either
Lance too old?
Lance or Malachi.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know I've already chosen Malachi. Yeah, Darby, if you're going for face energy. Well, that's not how these things work. If we're going for a face, good, comfy retirement, Darby. If we're going for build that fucking heel pop, it's Malachi, because they've got the similar sort of wear black and white face paint, I suppose is what I'm trying to say.
Well, they've both got the acceptable supernatural gimmick to Tony Khan.
Yeah, there we go, yeah. Or Lance, because maintaining Lance as that juggernaut is important. And he's the only one currently they've really got who reads like a juggernaut other than Miro, but Miro's a different kind of juggernaut.
So, we'll leave it there with Miro being a juggernaut. That's our show. I want to thank Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. You can find us, Wrestleopinionated, on Anchor.fm, Spotify, and YouTube. Over to you, Mr. Strange.
If you don't click like and subscribe, you're a bad friend and a bad person, and you should be ashamed of yourself for listening to over an hour of our time and not even deserving us worthy of 2 button clicks, if I'm honest with you. Thank you for listening. Please do like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment, click whatever it is on Anchor. We really do appreciate you listening, even if you're a bad friend. Send in whatever you can. We love having other stuff to talk about. Otherwise, Morg puts me in on-the-spot questions like that, and I come out with how my man crushes are all giant hairy men. So thanks again. Back to you, Morg.
So all that's left to be said is goodbye and good night.